This world is completely sick, infested by an overwhelming and relentless plague known only as monsters. With destruction spreading uncontrollably through the cities, humanity's very survival hung by a thread. Fortunately, the era of universal awakening finally arrived, giving rise to professionals to fight these beasts. By eliminating threats and reclaiming lost territories, these warriors became the great heroes of society. After a long war, humanity organized the final crusade against Azathoth, mobilizing its most powerful team. Victory seemed certain to everyone. After all, the front line was led by Gu Chen, the strongest professional in the world. He was the great pillar of hope, the invincible warrior who carried the future of entire civilizations on his back. However, as soon as the dust settles, Gu Chen finds himself severely injured and unable to understand the reason for such brutality. His own half-brother approaches holding a blood-stained sword, sporting a cruel and mocking smile. The traitor explains that the power of professionals only exists because of the monsters, and defeating the supreme boss would destroy that privilege. For that corrupt elite, keeping the monster alive on the verge of defeat was the only way to remain at the top of the social pyramid. Without the strength to fight back, Gu Chen looks around and realizes that all his teammates agreed with that act. The cold, complicit gaze of that team shows that none of those supposed heroes actually cared about the people. Realizing the corruption behind those speeches, an uncontrollable fury begins to take over Gu Chen's heart. The traitor mocks him again, making it clear that eliminating humanity's strongest warrior was a plan agreed upon by everyone. The heroes emphasize that his obsession with defeating all beasts transformed him into the greatest enemy of the professional class. Injured and cornered, he questions whether his sincere dream of saving the planet was nothing more than a grand illusion. The warrior remembers that he was always alone, since childhood in the countryside, when his foster parents were taken by monsters. It was only after that tragedy that his biological father, Gu Qingfeng, the greatest power in the realm, came to get him. But upon arriving at the mansion, he was treated poorly and openly despised by his new family and half-brother. Even in the face of so many daily humiliations, the boy endured everything and trained endlessly to become stronger and stronger. He even helped his half-brother advance and handed over his guild to him, focusing only on refining his own abilities. What he never expected was that all his past dedication would become the main cause of his downfall in the present. Mocking Gu Chen's childhood trauma, the villain raises his sword to deliver the final blow and finish the execution. He displays all his prejudice, shouting that the mere idea of having a brother from the countryside always disgusted him. Showing no mercy, the opponent launches the final attack with the intention of erasing the warrior from history. The sharp blade pierces the hero's weakened body in a brutal impact, leaving him defeated on the battlefield. With his life rapidly fading, humanity's greatest warrior collapses without strength onto the cold ground. However, in Gu Chen's final seconds of consciousness, something unbelievable and mysterious begins to happen around him. Azathoth rises again, recovering all its health, spreading panic and absolute chaos among the traitors. The horde overwhelms the desperate warriors, who cry and beg for help from the one they just betrayed. Seeing that scene, Gu Chen realizes clearly that the monsters infesting the world had not yet been eradicated. The problem is that his body has reached its absolute limit, and he no longer has the strength to even stand up. He understands that Azathoth was not the final boss, and that even more terrible creatures are lurking in the shadows. Despite discovering the truth, the warrior's life is at an end, and there is no time left to try to change the situation. In an act of pure desperation, he snatches the heart of the demon king Azathoth, a mythical item that holds the power of time. The monster becomes enraged upon realizing the human stole its authority to try to escape defeat through time. Overcome by an uncontrollable desire for payback, Gu Chen swears that if he gets another chance, he will show no mercy to humans or monsters. Time rewinds abruptly, and he wakes up in the past, on the exact day he failed his class awakening ceremony. The family leaders ridicule him for not unlocking any class, unaware that a reborn legend stands before them. Gu Chen widens his eyes in shock as he feels the air around him and realizes that all his physical senses have returned. Looking at his perfectly intact hands, he can hardly believe his body is young and healthy once again. Seeing the courtyard of the Gu mansion and the magic circle dissolving, he confirms he was reborn thanks to the power of the Demon King's heart. Before he can process the situation, his father's deep, angry voice echoes through the hall, ordering him to kneel immediately. Gu Qingfeng, the city's famous warlord, rants in frustration because his son didn't awaken even a common class. Observing the faces around him, Gu Chen remembers that exact day when he was humiliated and treated like dead weight. Suddenly, the awakening system interface appears in his field of vision, offering class choices that didn't exist in his past life. He analyzes the first option offered by the system, which requires him to repent and formally apologize to the Gu family. Remembering the 18 years he was abandoned makes him instantly reject the idea of humiliating himself for such hypocritical people. Angered by his son's silence, Gu Qingfeng orders him to spend a day and a night kneeling in the courtyard as punishment. Tired of bowing his head, Gu Chen confronts the man, saying he never acted like a father to have the right to demand anything. Beside himself at the audacity, the patriarch yells that a classless failure can never compare to his brother's talent. Gu Chen shoots back in kind, asking why they brought him from the countryside if the family always preferred the other son. Stepmother Qin Yun steps in shouting, demanding that the boy bend his knees and ask her husband for forgiveness immediately. With an icy gaze, Gu Chen reminds her that he is the legitimate heir to the clan, while she is nothing more than a simple concubine. The young man's intimidating aura and firm posture cause the woman to shrink back in fear, seeking protection behind the warlord. Furious at such insubordination, Gu Qingfeng releases his overwhelming aura to crush the rebellious boy's arrogance. Feeling the overwhelming pressure in the room, Gu Chen recognizes the absurd strength that a high-level warrior possesses. Demanding obedience, his father states he will only forgive the insolent words if he kneels and shows remorse. Even as the ground cracks beneath his feet from the force of the impact, Gu Chen steadies his body and categorically refuses to give in. Staring at the patriarch with complete determination, the young man makes it clear that he can forget any chance of seeing him kneel. Impressed by the mental fortitude of his classless son, the warlord's expression shifts slightly in the face of the resistance. He withdraws his spiritual pressure and offers one last opportunity for the boy to admit his mistake and avoid further punishment. Only a mocking laugh is heard from Gu Chen, who refuses to repeat the same mistakes that destroyed him in his past life. He declares loud and clear that he is cutting all ties with the Gu clan, relinquishing his last name and his family. Consumed by rage over the rejection, Gu Qingfeng yells that he is nothing without the clan and commands him to leave the mansion immediately. Determined to erase the boy's existence, the patriarch commands the butler to remove Gu Chen's name from the family registry. The butler then reveals with embarrassment that Gu Chen's name was actually never present on the family tree. Walking alone under the moonlight, the young man confirms the shadow option in the system, focusing solely on becoming stronger. The system grants him the SR rank summoner class, a demanding profession with absurd initial potential. He finds the SR rating strange, since talent evaluations in the realm traditionally only went from S rank down to E rank. As a reward for completing the initial quest, Gu Chen establishes a contract with his first creature, the bloodthirsty bat. Channeling the power of his new class, a dense reddish energy begins to manifest and swirl in the palm of his hand. The small beast appears before him with level 1 base stats and an initial lifesteal sonic attack ability. Analyzing the common class summon, Gu Chen realizes it is far too weak to face real dungeons. Without wasting time, he activates his divine shadow talent to infuse a dark, mutational lineage into the creature. Black energy wraps the bat in a glowing cocoon, initiating a terrifying and deep genetic transformation. The evolution exceeds expectations, and the small common bat transforms directly into Dagula, an epic rarity entity. Gu Chen is impressed to see that the shadow talent allowed his summon to jump 3 rarity tiers at once. To his complete surprise, the creature takes on an imposing humanoid form with large wings, hovering before the full moon. Gu Chen remembers that in his past life, even the strongest summoner only obtained a humanoid creature after their 3rd class change and at an extremely high price. Dagula's stat sheet confirms epic rank with extremely high stats at level 1, in addition to granting Gu Chen a 10-point bonus to all of his own stats. With a playful smile and sharp teeth, the newly evolved vampire approaches and asks if Gu Chen is her new master. Exuding mischief, she extends her claws and confesses she is eager to taste his fresh blood. A short time later, Gu Chen boards a high-speed train toward his next destination. Analyzing his stats on the train, he realizes his passive bonus has made his physical body 3 times stronger than that of any level 1 professional. In addition to the elevated stats, he observes the behavior of his summon and notes something quite unusual. Unlike ordinary summons that act like mindless weapons, Dagula has her own personality and a thirst for battle, able to fight completely independently. To avoid causing panic among the passengers, Gu Chen snaps his fingers and orders Dagula to return to his side immediately. Seeing the hungry look on the little bat on his shoulder, he knows he will need a massive accumulation of experience to feed her in the evaluation dungeon. Confident in his new divine talent, Gu Chen smiles as he anticipates the great results he will achieve in the freshman placement exam. The train coming from Gubei City finally arrives at its destination in Lincheng City, where the announcement advises passengers to disembark. Passing through the station gates, Gu Chen walks back to Lincheng No. 1 High School. He heads directly to the school's beginner dungeon training field. At the site, hundreds of newly awakened students are gathered, listening to instructions for the big practical exam. Teacher Zhang Songhua takes the floor to emphasize that today marks everyone's first real battle as professionals. She presents the school's beginner dungeon portal, a modified environment that remains open only 10 days a year for students below level 10. The teacher explains that the location offers low risk and slightly higher rewards, serving as a great opportunity for advancement. For everyone's safety, she offers discounted emergency teleportation scrolls costing only 200 gold coins. Checking the group's attendance list, the teacher notices one student is missing and asks where Gu Chen is. The students begin to laugh and mock, saying the boy probably failed his awakening and was too embarrassed to show up for the exam. While a classmate tries to defend him from the teasing, Gu Chen calmly appears in the room, apologizing for the short delay. The students are surprised by the boy's arrival, whispering that he only came to embarrass himself in public. Relieved by the student's arrival, Teacher Jiang asks Gu Chen directly which class he managed to awaken. When he calmly replies that he became a summoner and shows his small beast, the teacher turns pale with shock at the choice. While the girls comment on his handsome appearance and pity his chosen class, Gu Chen focuses solely on the hidden dungeon he knows about. The boys around him mock the fact that a boy without resources chose Summoner, a class reliant on constant spending. Noticing the group's venomous comments, the teacher calls for quiet and argues that personal effort is what truly matters. She advises him to seek good teammates and buy the scroll, but Gu Chen refuses the protection immediately. The teacher is startled by the refusal and warns that she cannot allow students to enter the portal without safety measures unless they have prior parental authorization. Gu Chen remains completely silent at the mention of parents, showing total disinterest in that family's opinion. Interpreting the boy's reaction as a lack of money, the teacher feels pity and imagines he is going through financial hardship. Showing sincere empathy, she offers to pay for the scroll out of her own pocket to ensure the student's survival. Gu Chen smiles confidently and clarifies that he only declined because he has enough strength to not need that resource. The teacher sighs, thinking the young man is just trying to save face, while the students in the background mock him again. However, observing Gu Chen's serene posture and striking presence, she becomes intrigued by such self-confidence. At the entrance of the dungeon, a crowd of students and upperclassmen trade gear and search for team partners for the hunt. Upon noticing a summoner at the location, some bystanders comment that only people from wealthy families dared to take on that class. As soon as they identify Gu Chen as a boy from the countryside, the adventurers dismiss him immediately, while the hero ignores the crowd's foolishness. He knows that to unlock the hardest mode of the hidden dungeon and claim the best prizes, he will need to assemble a 5-person team. Lin Yuan, his great childhood friend from his past life, approaches asking where Gu Chen had been during the past month. Gu Chen replies serenely that he just needed to settle some pending personal matters. Lin Yuan gives him a friendly nudge and complains about the boy being so cold, while Gu Chen recalls the strong friendship they shared. Lin Yuan hands him a teleportation scroll, mentioning that teacher Jiang bought it with her own money to help Gu Chen. Taking the scroll, Gu Chen recognizes the teacher's genuine kindness and promises himself to reward her in the future. In his second life, he vows to protect those who truly care about him and make all traitors pay a heavy price. Curious, Lin Yuan asks why he became a summoner if he didn't even have money to buy a basic scroll. Gu Chen explains that the class was assigned randomly and asks why his friend, being a swordsman, hadn't joined a group yet. Lin Yuan comments on Li Wenhui, the leader of the elite class, who entered the dungeon wearing a rare knight set. Gu Chen immediately recalls that the Li family from Lincheng was involved in the brutal betrayal of his past life. Showing the sword he got by trading his escape scroll, Lin Yuan laments how much the world favors the rich. Gu Chen offers to carry him through the hunt, seeing in his friend the perfect candidate to fill a spot on the team. Lin Yuan reveals that he paid 50,000 coins to join Li Wenhui's team and says he can add Gu Chen. Lin Yuan tries to include his friend in the group, promising he will leave the team if Li Wenhui refuses Gu Chen's entry. Li Wenhui not only rejects the request, but kicks Lin Yuan out of the team immediately, leaving the young man furious. Gu Chen suggests recruiting their own group, announcing that a summoner will take 4 people to reach SSS rank. Lin Yuan notes that getting the maximum score guarantees bonus points and could even earn a direct spot at the Capital Academy. With a confident smile, Gu Chen simply asks whether his friend believes in his ability to reach the top or not. Moved by the young man's determination, Lin Yuan decides to give his full vote of confidence and support the plan. Lin Yuan begins shouting across the plaza that a legendary summoner is assembling a team to reach SSS rank. The crowd of students reacts with surprise to the shouting, doubting that any such genius exists in the city of Lincheng. Discovering that the leader is an ordinary countryside summoner, the students burst into laughter and mock the group's ambition. Annoyed by the teasing, Lin Yuan suggests hiring paid helpers to solve the team's vacancy issue. Gu Chen finds it utterly absurd to have to pay to carry other people and help them level up. Meanwhile, 2 newly awakened girls discuss whether they should join Gu Chen's group to save money. The warrior and the assassin approached the duo, decided to accept the invitation to form the team. Lin Yuan guarantees coverage of the girls' fees, and they decide to take the risk, trusting their emergency scrolls. To Lin Yuan's surprise, the class representative Wu Ziyi also decides to join the group. Wu Ziyi, a level 1 fighter highly respected among the students, introduces himself, ready to fill the 5th spot. Lin Yuan celebrates the arrival of the representative, who mentions he is only there to fill out the numbers and collect his fee. Seeing that the representative demands an additional payment under the threat of backing out, Lin Yuan despairs over the costs. Gu Chen accepts the conditions and takes leadership of the group, sending out the invites while the team questions his choice. With an enigmatic smile, Gu Chen mocks those expecting nightmare mode, telling everyone to accept the invite. With the confirmation of all 4 members in the system, Gu Chen finally extends his hand over the dungeon altar. The stone seal of the dungeon shatters under the impact of Gu Chen's spiritual power, shocking the group. Glowing cracks spread across the altar as an overwhelming energy begins to emerge from the portal. A terrifying reddish rift opens before the team, exuding an aura of extreme and unknown danger. Gu Chen smiles with satisfaction upon confirming that his secret method successfully unlocked the hidden dungeon. Terrified by the scarlet glow and sinister energy, the group members panic and try to cancel their entry. Ignoring the general panic, the leader pulls the entire team into the scarlet portal to begin the true hunt. A massive portal glows in a vibrant crimson shade in the middle of the stone structure, signaling the opening of an extraordinary passage. As soon as access stabilizes, the group steps forward without hesitation and crosses the entry portal. Outside, the crowd of students watches the scene in shock, unable to understand how a simple summoner managed to open a new dungeon and lead people inside. Noticing the bright red hue of the passage, the student director turns pale upon realizing the gravity of the situation. Desperate, the director explains that this is a special hidden dungeon with a 99% mortality rate for novices, completely baffled as to how it could appear there. Meanwhile, inside, the system confirms that the group has just entered the temple ruins, a hidden novice dungeon. Panicking, the silver-haired warrior grabs Gu Chen by the collar, angry that he made the decision to enter a place of completely unknown difficulty. Without showing any concern, Gu Chen easily grabs the boy's wrist and reminds him that the group itself said he could choose the dungeon. The warrior is surprised by Gu Chen's physical strength, since, as a class focused on physical stats, he never expected to be restrained so easily by a summoner. The other members begin to panic, complaining that the school provided no data on that dungeon and that none of them possess a teleportation scroll to escape. The silver-haired youth yells, calling Gu Chen crazy and demanding to leave, but the protagonist coldly responds that the choice is theirs to either trust him or act like cowards. Dismissing the complaints, Gu Chen simply takes his own teleportation scroll and hands it to Lin Yuan. He moves toward the interior of the temple and warns that everyone now has the chance to run whenever they want, leaving his companions unsure how to react to such confidence. As they walk down the stone corridors, the warrior asks how he knew about the hidden dungeon, and Gu Chen sarcastically says it was just intuition. In truth, Gu Chen remembers seeing that exact dungeon on the news in his past life, where a novice opened it by accident and caused the downfall of several hunters. He recalls that only later, when elites from various provinces united to conquer it, the reward obtained at the end was simply unbelievable. Unaware of the protagonist's thoughts, the group's lancer silently prays that the dungeon is only on normal difficulty so they can survive. As they advance through the temple hall, ancient suits of armor lined up along the walls begin to emit dark energy and move. The helmet visors light up in a sinister red, revealing that the stone guards have come to life. Seeing the statues move, their teammate goes into shock, while Gu Chen calmly observes the arrival of the first monsters. The system identifies the enemies as Level 2 fallen guards, creatures with 1,400 health points advancing with swords drawn against the intruders. Seeing 10 Level 2 monsters appear at once, the team members panic, knowing that not even the Academy's top students could face that. Gu Chen steps to the front with composure and commands his teammates to simply follow him without trying to steal defeats, annoying the silver-haired warrior with his orders. With a serene smile, Gu Chen extends his finger and calls his small bat into action. His companions look at the tiny creature and begin to mock, questioning if he really intends to fight 10 Level 2 monsters with that. Paying no attention to the comments, Gu Chen commands the attack, and the small bat darts forward, consumed by a terrifying crimson aura. In a fraction of a second, the summon reveals her true form as a vampire and rushes the armor at devastating speed. With a single swipe of her claws, a wave of reddish slashes shatters all the fallen guards simultaneously, destroying the group of enemies in moments. As Dracula hovers gently after the defeat, system windows flash notifications confirming the elimination of all guards and a massive gain in experience. Gu Chen's teammates are completely dumbfounded by the scene, unable to understand how a summoner possesses an epic-tier beast capable of dealing so much damage. The silver-haired warrior grinds his teeth in denial, unable to comprehend how someone with a class considered weak summoned an epic-tier creature, something extremely rare in the entire empire. Impressed, the students calculate that the attack dealt over 3,000 points of damage, far surpassing any prodigy from the academy. They realize that no paladin from the school could cause that much destruction with just 2 abilities, recognizing they now have an absurdly strong ally in their group. Seeing how easy the victory was, Gu Chen smiles with satisfaction, noting that his epic-tier summon sweeps monsters of the same level effortlessly and still has room to evolve. The status panel appears indicating that Gu Chen has reached level 2, while also unlocking the option to awaken Dracula's bloodline using the Dark Lineage item. Realizing he can empower his summon immediately, Gu Chen analyzes the system prompt regarding the available bloodline awakening. His companions watch from a distance without understanding what he is doing, assuming the protagonist is upgrading a creature that is already terrifyingly strong. The system confirms the successful bloodline awakening, doubling Dracula's health points to 3,200, boosting all her stats, and granting a new epic talent. Feeling the crimson energy flow through Dracula's body, Gu Chen calculates that if they continue at this pace, they will quickly reach level 6 during the run. Enveloped by an intimidating aura alongside his empowered summon, Gu Chen glances at his companions and asks if any of them still want to give up. Hearing Gu Chen's question, all his teammates shake their heads frantically in denial, refusing any thought of abandoning the mission. Seeing that no one intends to back down, Gu Chen resumes walking as Dracula hovers by his side, leading the team deeper into the dungeon. Meanwhile, outside the red portal, onlookers find it strange that none of the students have used an escape scroll up to this point. The teacher watches anxiously, unable to understand why Gu Chen took the group into such a dangerous place and worried about how she will explain an incident to the students' parents. Suddenly, the crowd outside gasps in surprise upon noticing that the dungeon completion percentage has begun to appear on the portal. A glowing bar appears, indicating that 10% of the hidden dungeon has already been successfully cleared by the group. Seeing the progress, the director immediately demands the novices' files, and the teacher confirms that the team is led by Gu Chen. The director smiles smugly, assuming that the person truly responsible for the progress is the fighter Wu Ziyi for carrying a useless summoner on his back. However, the teacher grows thoughtful, remembering that official leadership of the team belongs to Gu Chen and trusting in the composure he displayed. Deeper inside the temple, the fighter Wu Zi finds himself cornered by a level 5 deacon of the Black Mist and desperately begs Gu Chen for help. Watching his teammates panic from afar, Gu Chen calmly reminds them that he had already warned them not to act on their own. The students try to justify themselves, shouting that they couldn't leave empty-handed after entering such a rare dungeon. Overcome by desperation and in tears, young Su Ran begs brother Gu Chen to do something to save them immediately. Realizing the group's pace could ruin his final score, Gu Chen decides to end the battle quickly and commands Dracula to return. The vampire obeys the order and dissolves into a shimmering red aura that flies directly back to the protagonist's hand. Gu Chen closes his eyes for a second while concentrating the flow of shadow energy around his own body. Opening his eyes glowing crimson, he activates his summon's Crimson Feast ability. With terrifying speed, Gu Chen rushes forward alone and grabs the giant monster directly by the neck. He delivers a devastating strike, leveraging the fact that Dracula's skill transfers stats accumulated during defeats directly to him. By recalling his summon at the exact right moment, all accumulated combat bonuses are converted into raw physical force for the summoner himself. With his parameters multiplied, Gu Chen easily dodges the creature's attack and counters with extreme violence. Thanks to Dracula's previous evolutions, Gu Chen's hand-to-hand combat capability reaches an unbelievable level. He realizes that his current physical power is more than enough to rival any class focused on direct combat. With a single brutal punch that destroys the enemy, Gu Chen leaves Wu Ziyi in complete shock upon seeing that a summoner has more strength than he does. The system notifies his level increase to level 3, and Gu Chen deactivates his combat aura while reading his new stats. A new notification pops up confirming the drop of another dark lineage item, allowing for further awakenings or transformations. Gu Chen concludes there is a chance to obtain the item at every level and decides to save the new lineage to unlock on his next summoned beast after level 5. He turns to the group and coldly warns that the battle against the final boss is next, and anyone who is scared can use their scroll and leave. Instantly changing their minds, all teammates smile nervously and promise to continue and try to help however they can. Wu Ziyi approaches Gu Chen and asks if, after clearing this rift, he will choose an Inferno difficulty dungeon next time. Gu Chen confirms the goal, and Wu Ziyi asks to be brought along in the group once more, but the protagonist replies that it is hard to promise. Surprised, Wu Ziyi questions the reason for the hesitation, and Gu Chen explains that Inferno-level dungeons have never been cleared by novices and that any mistake is fatal. The fighter guarantees he is not afraid of danger, but Gu Chen makes it clear that fear of defeat is not the issue. With a smirk, Gu Chen reveals the true reason by saying that he will need to pay an extra fee to be carried. The response leaves Wu Zi completely confused and speechless at the unexpected charge. Gu Chen sets the price at 100,000 coins per person, calculating internally that he will need funds to purchase stat crystals and empower his summons. Wu Zi is startled by the high amount, but the shield-bearing teammate agrees immediately, stating she will borrow the money to secure her spot. The girl explains that a triple S assessment score will guarantee bonus points on the exam and a guaranteed spot in elite academies, convincing the rest of the group. Persuaded by the argument, Wu Zi accepts the offer on the spot and promises to transfer the payment as soon as they leave the dungeon. Gu Chen accepts the deal, but makes it clear he won't flatter anyone or carry anyone who drags down the team's performance during combat. Observing the entrance to the main chamber, Gu Chen notes that the final boss of this dungeon possesses power that cannot be underestimated, in addition to guarding an item essential to his plans. Arriving at the temple's inner hall, the group comes across a massive stone staircase where the dungeon boss hides. At the top of the structure, A dense mass of dark mist and shadow energy begins to gather rapidly. The smoke materializes into the black-robed Deacon, a level 7 boss with over 9,000 health points and frightening physical stats. The system panel details the boss's abilities, highlighting Ash Mist Curse, Shadow Invasion, and a passive damage transfer ability. Seeing the boss's monstrous stats, Guchen's teammates panic and suggest fleeing immediately, since the creature's power is more than triple that of a normal monster. Guchen smiles in silence, remembering that in his past life, this boss guaranteed a legendary treasure chest for whoever achieved the first clear of the dungeon. Without giving the group time to react, the Deacon activates Ash Mist Curse, spreading thick gray smoke that hides monsters and reduces the physical ability of anyone who inhales it. As the toxic smoke fills the hall and frightens the group, Guchen firmly orders no one to move so as not to waste energy unnecessarily. The protagonist carefully observes the environment and realizes that the greatest danger of that attack is not the mist itself. Suddenly, streaks of crimson light cut through the smoke as Dracula intercepts stealth attacks targeting the team. Guchen explains to his frightened companions that the Deacon's guards are hiding in the mist to carry out silent ambushes. The vampire moves at incredible speed through the hall, directly attacking the hidden guards before they can reach the group. Guchen remarks that this mist is usually fatal for ordinary hunters, but it has no effect on summoned creatures like Dracula. In a display of brutal strength, the summon shatters the hidden guards, opening a clear path through the smoke. Guchen moves forward and tells the group to stick close to him, warning that he won't be able to save anyone who wanders off in the dark. He analyzes that the boss is a shadow creature using smoke to hide an attack by surprise. However, essentially being a bat, Dracula possesses unique sonar vision that maps the entire environment instantly. With the exact location confirmed by sonar, Guchen gives the command, and Dracula shoots like a red streak toward the boss. The vampire emerges from the shadows and lands a precise strike on the black-robed Deacon. With the impact of the attack, the ash mist begins to clear, making his companions sigh in relief as they see Guchen dominating the battle alone. However, to everyone's surprise, the boss activates a green healing aura and recovers all its health without taking any real damage. Guchen stays calm and immediately identifies that the monster used its passive damage transfer ability. The system window explains that all damage taken by the boss is transferred to a nearby fallen guard, and that these guards revive 3 seconds after falling unless all are eliminated. His teammates fall into despair upon noticing the overwhelming combination of the boss's 9,000 health points and its ability to continually revive its minions. Guchen analyzes the situation and realizes that if they eliminate the guards at the exact moment they revive, the boss will have no targets to transfer damage to and will lose health. While trying to figure out a strategy, team members begin to tremble and feel sick from the accumulated poison effect of the toxic mist. Without losing time, Guchen pulls a handful of mist herb from his pocket, a medicinal item he bought in advance at the market, to remove negative status effects. He tosses the herbs to his companions and orders them to consume the remedy quickly to help him in the fight, as he cannot manage the entire mechanic alone. Guchen knows he needs the group to participate in combat to ensure the dungeon's final rating is perfect. Lin Yuan swallows the herb quickly and feels the weakness from the poison fade from his body. Wu Ziyi also consumes the item and instantly recovers all his energy and physical vigor. With the poison neutralized, the students stand up refreshed and confirm they are ready to fight. Next, Guchen hands F-rank light crystals to Wu Ziyi and the shield warrior. Without giving detailed explanations, the protagonist simply tells them to follow his instructions without question when the moment arrives. Excited about the chance to earn experience points in this round, his teammates accept the mission and take responsibility for holding off the guards. Guchen then recalls Dracula in a flash of red light, causing the vampire to grumble softly about having her combat interrupted. Guchen explains that she has worn down the boss enough and can rest a bit now that the ash mist is gone. Enveloped by the Crimson Feast aura, Guchen himself assumes a combat stance to face the boss in hand-to-hand combat. He rushes forward at high speed and leads the plan, ordering the group to hold off the guards while he takes care of defeating the final boss. Without wasting time, Guchen advances at high speed wrapped in the Crimson aura and shouts for his companions not to be a burden in battle. He lands a devastating punch directly on the shadow boss's head, forcing the monster to try to activate its damage transfer immediately. However, Lin Yuan attacks the fallen guard at the exact moment of the attempt, eliminating the level 3 minion and causing the boss's skill to fail. Next, Wu Ziyi lands a heavy flying kick on another level 4 guard, once again preventing the boss from redirecting the attack. Lin Qingqing and Su Ran act together to destroy the last remaining minion, completely blocking the enemy's regeneration. With no targets to transfer damage to, Gu Chen depletes the boss's health bar with physical strikes, but remains alert knowing it still holds a dangerous ability. Suddenly, Gu Chen senses a sinister presence concealing itself in the air and notices the monster moving behind his back. The deacon appears behind him, casting Shadow Invasion, a ultimate strike that ignores 70% of defense and immobilizes the target for 10 seconds. Stunned by the paralysis effect, Gu Chen remembers that this skill wiped out elites in his past life and shouts for the group to throw the light crystals. Attentive to the command, his teammates prepare the yellow crystals and hurl them toward the enemy without hesitation. The golden light emitted by the crystals wraps around the black-robed deacon and instantly dissolves the dark smoke around it. Sensitive to the holy element, the shadow boss begins to burn and roars in pain as its ability is cancelled out. Freed from paralysis thanks to the dispersion of the black mist, Gu Chen recovers quickly, knowing that the weak point of that attack was illumination itself. He charges at the unprotected monster, mentally celebrating the fact that almost no one in the world knows the true value of those ordinary crystals. Seeing the incoming attack, the boss tries desperately to retreat to hide in the ash mist once more. The creature sinks into the gray smoke, leaving only its glowing red eye visible as it tries to buy time. Gu Chen realizes the boss is trying to stall at low health to summon new guards as soon as the ability's cooldown finishes. With a sarcastic smile, Gu Chen cancels Crimson Feast and brings his small summon back into combat, noting that Dracula has rested enough. The protagonist points his finger into the mist and orders Dracula to deliver the finishing blow to the dying monster. A beam of crimson energy fires at high speed and pierces the chest of the boss hidden in the dark. Materializing her full vampire form, Dracula slashes the enemy from end to end with her sharp claws. The strike deals over 6,000 points of damage, instantly draining the remainder of the black-robed deacon's health. An explosion of reddish energy consumes the shadow boss, destroying the monster once and for all. The system screen appears, confirming the elimination of the boss, granting experience, and awarding the emblem and cloak of the Black Deacon. Next, a golden treasure chest materializes in the hall, and the group celebrates in ecstasy for completing the nightmare-level hidden dungeon. Before the valuable loot and high-quality crystals floating in the air, his teammates ask Gu Chen how they will divide the rewards. Gu Chen decides to keep the chest, the equipment, and half of the crystals, leaving the other half to be divided equally among the 4 companions. Everyone happily agrees, knowing that selling those high-quality crystals will yield the equivalent of several beginner dungeons. Gu Chen reminds everyone to bring the requested fee next time and demands absolute secrecy regarding his summon possessing a human form. He warns that he doesn't want to draw attention and threatens to leave anyone who leaks the information out of the Inferno-level dungeon. About to be teleported back, his companions guarantee total obedience, while Gu Chen confirms he will continue with the same team. The countdown reaches 0 and beams of blue light surround the students, taking everyone out of the dungeon. Back in the academy courtyard, a crowd gathers, watching the entrance portals closely for any news. A student wearing shiny silver armor emerges from a green portal, boasting about clearing a hard-level dungeon in just 3 hours. Full of himself, the boy in armor wipes sweat from his forehead and tries to get everyone's attention to interview him as a prodigy. However, he notices with confusion that no one in the courtyard is paying attention to him, as everyone is focused on the main announcement screen. The glowing panel announces a new historical record in the hidden temple dungeon, revealing that the team led by summoner Gu Chen completed the challenge in 2 hours and 35 minutes. The teachers and director celebrate the extraordinary feat, relieved to see that the portal incident turned into an absolute success before the Ministry of Education. The director laughs proudly and states that the school should generously reward Wu Ziyi, believing that the fighter was responsible for carrying the team on his back. As the crowd rushes to greet the group coming out of the portal, the teacher watches from a distance with suspicion, doubting that Wu Ziyi had the strength to accomplish such a feat alone. As soon as they cross the portal and return to the courtyard, Guchen and his companions are met with shocked looks from the crowd that didn't believe in the group's success. The surrounding students begin to cheer and shout excitedly, praising the historic achievement and offering money to join the next team. Lin Yuan is impressed by the size of the crowd and startled by the presence of the directors and teachers gathered at the location. Wu Ziyi comments proudly that they became instant celebrities and that discovering the hidden dungeon guarantees a direct spot on the admission list. The school director approaches with firm steps and asks directly who among the group is young Wu Ziyi. The director greets Wu Ziyi with a broad smile and promises a great reward for his leadership, but the boy tries to correct him, saying the true leader was Gu Chen. Upon hearing Gu Chen's name, the director looks at the young man with disdain, dismissing the fact that he is merely a summoner. The director arrogantly states that the school values whoever put in the greatest effort in combat, refusing to give credit to the team's official leader. Teacher Jiang tries to intervene in favor of her students, but the director interrupts her, insisting it is impossible for a summoner to lead the conquer of a hidden dungeon. Seeing the injustice, Wu Zi, Lin Yuan, and the whole group step forward and declare loud and clear that Gu Chen was solely responsible for the team's success. The director mistrusts the response and accuses Wu Ziyi of being bribed to hand over his credit, leaving the boy desperate to prove he is telling the truth. In his thoughts, Wu Ziyi silently curses the director, fearing the old man's persistence will make Gu Chen give up on bringing him along to future dungeons. Gu Chen assumes an indifferent posture and warns that he does not care about empty honors from the school that bring no material rewards, completely ignoring the director's opinion. The young man's firm attitude leaves the director furious, ranting and accusing Gu Chen of insolence while threatening to punish him for his lack of respect. Before the director can do anything, Vice Minister Liang appears alongside officials and openly declares that the director no longer has the capacity to hold his position. The director becomes completely terrified when confronted by authorities from the Ministry of Education. Officials question the resolution of the incident, surprised to learn that all 5 students returned in perfect health. Vice Minister Liang is shocked to discover that the group didn't use escape scrolls, but instead completed the nightmare-level dungeon in less than 3 hours. The director confirms the information and reveals that the students themselves claim a novice summoner was largely responsible for leading the run. Intrigued by the revelation, Vice Minister Liang Linfei introduces himself personally to the team to understand exactly what happened. Liang praises Gu Chen as the true leader of the group, and the young man sarcastically notes that he finally found someone capable of recognizing talent. Gu Chen analyzes the ministry representative's presence and realizes he is a high-level hunter capable of noticing his strength with a single glance. Liang explains that the city ministry is closely monitoring the incident and asks Gu Chen to provide all details regarding the run. He guarantees that discovering the hidden dungeon brought great benefits to the city and that the group will receive an official reward worthy of the achievement. Seeing his companions looking at him not knowing what to answer, Gu Chen tells everyone to speak the exact simplified version they agreed on inside. Liang observes the boy's composure and control, concluding that this student is no ordinary youth. As they walk to the meeting room, the vice minister reflects on how dungeons are sources of disaster, but also essential resource areas for hunters. He recalls that undiscovered dungeons cause an overpopulation of monsters that invade cities and transform entire regions into fallen zones. On the other hand, clearing rifts periodically ensures a continuous flow of materials and fosters the rise of new professionals in the region. He cites the tragic case of Genyuan Pass in the Shengxia Kingdom, which became an uninhabitable fallen zone due to the failure to eradicate monsters early on. Liang emphasizes that were it not for the army commanded by General Gu Qingfeng, the entire Shengxia Kingdom would have been devastated by the beasts. Back in the office, the vice minister announces that each team member will receive 10,000 gold coins from the ministry, as well as an honorary title. His companions celebrate the large sum, while Gu Chen calculates that the ministry title will secure valuable points for his future exams. To fulfill protocol, Liang asks how a team of novices led by a summoner discovered the dungeon and managed to clear it. Gu Chen replies calmly that he noticed spiritual energy fluctuations in the area and that the success of the run was the result of teamwork. Liang stands up in surprise upon hearing about spiritual sensitivity, but Gu Chen brushes it off, saying it is a unique trait of his class. Liang accepts the explanation, remembering that summoners do develop advanced perception after forming bonds with beasts, and Gu Chen asks if there are any further questions. Bringing the questioning to an end, Liang only asks them to report the quantity of monsters and mechanics to include in the official report. Although he senses Gu Chen is hiding something, Liang decides not to push, believing he is simply a promising youth with no dangerous secrets. Gu Chen asks to be excused after giving his testimony, but Liang calls him back, asking him to wait a moment alone. Left alone with Gu Chen, Vice Minister Liang invites the young man to participate in a raid on special newly discovered rifts in Lincheng, organized by the Ministry of Education. Gu Chen questions the choice of a novice and asks what advantages he would gain, and Liang explains that only new students meet the level requirements, promising gold coins and a direct recommendation to the Capital Academy. Upon hearing the name of the prestigious institution, Gu Chen confirms if it is indeed the Capital Academy, and the Vice Minister guarantees it is the only direct recommendation spot available in the city. With a subtle smile on his face, Gu Chen replies that he will think carefully about the Vice Minister's proposal. With his eyes glowing a sinister red, Gu Chen considers the opportunity to reunite with his brother in the capital and decides to return home to unlock his second summoned beast and become even stronger.